Hey guys, Dina here with your UFC Fight Night picks for Saturday, October 31st. This weekend's fights happen on Halloween, and it ends with Uriah and Anderson Silva going at it in his retirement bout. Let's talk about it. I want to run through our prelims really quickly. There's a few fights on the card that were kind of hard to predict, some that I'm really excited about. So let's go ahead and get started with Gruetzemacher and Alexander Hernandez. Gruetzemacher is coming into this fight as a plus 360 underdog, and Hernandez is coming in at a minus 270 favorite. At least that's where they started when I looked last. They've been jumping all over the place. This is Gruetzemacher's first fight in 2.5 years after tearing his ACL. Before that, a string of submission losses had him down. Hernandez is coming off of a couple knockout losses himself, but he has some distinct skill advantages and has been looking really good in the octagon. I have Hernandez in this fight. Up next, we have Adrian Yanez and Victor Rodriguez. Adrian Yanez is coming in as a heavy favorite. I have him all the way. His iron chin and hardcore right hand are going to be his big advantages in this fight. Up next is Dustin Jacoby and Justin Ledet. Ledet dropped to light heavyweight in 2018, and it's been doing him no favors. He's coming into this fight on a 3-fight losing streak, and I don't have the confidence in him to pull out a win, so I have Jacoby in this one. Kevin Natividad and Miles Johns. Here's one where I don't agree with most of the pros' picks. Everyone's saying this is Johns' fight to win. I completely disagree. After watching his embarrassing loss to Bautista, I say Natividad has what he needs to win this one. Up next, we have Strickland and Jack Marshman. Strickland made a strong debut in the UFC, winning 5 of his first 6 bouts. Marshman is a last-minute stand-in for the original opponent who tested positive for COVID, and unfortunately, he's just outclassed here. He's useless on the mat, and this is definitely Strickland's fight to win. Now, on to the main card, and this is going to be a good one. But let's get the heavyweights out of the way first. Anyone who knows me knows heavyweights are not my favorite to watch. There's nothing like watching 2 large, overweight men sweating and leaning on each other for 2 rounds after banging it out in the first. But what makes this one interesting? We have Greg Hardy and Maurice Greene. Now, Greg Hardy is a heavyweight, but he doesn't move like one. And sure, he's got asthma, and there was an incident recently with an inhaler, but if you think he hasn't learned from that and moved on and improved, you'd be so wrong. Rounds 2 and 3 is where Hardy's gonna own this fight. Greene's gonna put up a good fight in the first round, but he's gonna gas out, and that's when Hardy's gonna go to work. Another Greene on the card is Bobby Greene, and he's going up against Thiago Moises. He's been looking good. He won his last 3 bouts, and he did it with style. His cardio, boxing, and timing have all been on point. Now, Moises is no slouch. He's a former RFA champ, and his jiu-jitsu is impressive. But in order for him to pull out a win on this one, he's gonna have to look a little bit sharper than Greene, and I just don't see that happening. Bobby's gonna be hard to take down and impossible to keep down. Greene is my pick. I was really disappointed to hear that the Makhmed Muradov fight was canceled. Turns out he tested positive for COVID. Anyone else that saw him lay out Trevor Smith last December and send his mouthpiece flying were probably disappointed too. But it turns out there's a stand-in. Let's talk about that for a second. Kevin Holland is now going to be fighting Charly Ontivaros. And if you don't know who that is, that's okay, neither does anyone else. Charly has an 11-6 record. All 6 of his losses came by way of knockout. He isn't really in his own class here in this fight. I don't feel like he really earned it, but good for him for getting his 15 minutes. The win obviously goes to Kevin Holland. Our co-main event fight is one I'm really excited for. Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell and Andre Touchy Fili. If you know who Bryce Mitchell is, then you know it's impossible not to like the guy. He's a down-home, corn-fed country boy from Arkansas, and he submitted Matt Sales with only the 2nd ever twister in UFC history. The twister was a thing of beauty, as with every other submission Bryce has gotten in his career, and if he gets his hands anywhere near your neck, it's happening. Now, I'm not sleeping on Andre Fili. I've heard recently that he had Gary Tonin living with him and training with him and helping him with his grappling skills, which is excellent and probably going to be wonderful for his career, but no amount of grappling training is going to save you when Bryce Mitchell's going for your neck. I've got Mitchell in this fight. Now for our main event. Brace yourselves. I might be about to piss a few of you off, and I'm really sorry. I want to preface it by saying that I'm an Anderson Silva fan, but like a pre-UFC 200 Silva fan. Maybe like an 8 fights ago Anderson Silva fan, because the Anderson Silva we have right now is a man past his prime that should have retired a while ago. His record is 34-10-1, and out of his last 8 fights, he only has 1 win. And let's be honest, seeing Cannonier take him out in round 1 was like watching your dad fall down. It was really sad. Now the 45-year-old is stepping into the octagon with Uriah Hall, who's 9 years younger and maybe kind of tipping the edge of his prime as well, but looking a lot fresher, a lot quicker, and a lot sharper. This one is really bittersweet. As a fan, I want to see Anderson Silva do his thing. That effortless tap on the chin knockout that you have to watch on replay from 3 different angles, the flying knees, the taunting his opponent, dropping his shoulders and tapping him on the chest. But that's not the Silva that we're gonna see. We may see a little bit of that fire probably in the first round, but I think Uriah Hall has this one, and kudos to him. It's gonna be really sad to see Silva leave the UFC. Hopefully he gets to leave it on a high note, but my pick is for Hall. These are the picks. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck, guys.